You are entering EandC's Pod of Awesomeness.
Birdman, what a crazy week. That's all I'm going to say. We're back.
Yeah.
Back home. Today on the show, we have Tommaso Ciampa, and it's an amusing interview because of the scenario in which it took place. So,
it's right up our alley, right? I mean, if anything, that I don't
two dipshits without a clue.
I'm not into spoilers, so you're gonna have to hang tight for what happened. But if this were to ever happen, it would happen to us, and it'll make perfect sense. So enjoy.
Yes. Hey, you can listen to this thing. You can subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on Android app, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, however you listen to these things. Don't forget to leave us a
5-star frog/review.
You can follow all our social media accounts. Twitter, it's at EandC Pod. Instagram, it's at EC Pod of Awesomeness. He's at Christian for Peeps. I'm at Edge Rated R. There you go. Now,
you're getting them all.
But good to have him. We've wanted him on for a while, but he's very. He's protected his thing, but his thing is different now. So it's a good chat, really good chat. Where he's at, where he's been, where he wants to go, and anyway, so that's today. But we got loads, man. I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's the fallout from WrestleMania.
Yeah, it is.
And that's really what it feels like.
This next ad is paid for by NHTSA. Cops are writing tickets for people who text while driving. You drive, you text, you pay.
Thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. And cops are writing tickets for people who text while driving. You drive, you text, you pay.
Texting and driving isn't just a dangerous problem. It's deadly. In fact, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why cops are out writing tickets to those who text while driving. And they're doing it to save lives. You drive, you text, you pay.
Texting and driving isn't just a dangerous problem, it's deadly. Between 2012 and 2017, nearly 20,000 people died in crashes involving a distracted driver. And if your own safety isn't enough reason to stop driving while distracted, here's another one. It's also illegal. That's why cops are writing tickets to anyone caught texting while driving, and they're doing it to save lives. So remember, if you text while driving, you will get caught. You drive, you text, you pay.
Texting and driving isn't just a dangerous problem, it's deadly. And if you drive while distracted, you're 3 times more likely to crash. But far too many people still don't recognize the dangers. Did you know that when you send or receive a text, you take your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field with your eyes closed. Between 2012 and 2017, nearly 20,000 people died in crashes involving a distracted driver.
And if your safety isn't enough reason to stop driving while distracted, here's another one. It's also illegal. That's why cops are writing tickets to anyone caught texting while driving, and they're doing it to save lives. So remember, if you text while driving, you will get caught. You drive, you text, you pay. I didn't work. All I did was go and basically be, Beth's water boy and run and make sure she had food and everything. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Utterly exhausted.
Man. Yeah.
I got home straight to the girls, so there was no surcease, and she was up there at Raw, so it was right into the, if I thought WrestleMania was exhausting, the girls, whew, brother.
Yeah. Stay up there for a few more days. Get some more out. Yeah, I mean, it was a busy week. I had a couple appearances, did some stuff for the network, the WWE Network, did a few interviews and some things for some upcoming shows on there. Also, did a little WrestleCon signing, There
you go.
Busy.
There you go. I purposely didn't do anything just in case, because I knew Beth had the match and I knew what, how huge it was for her. So I just wanted to make sure if there was anything that popped up, as it always does at WrestleMania, that I could take care of it so she wouldn't have to worry about it,
Look at you. Look at you all pretending you're nice.
Speaking, and we talked about this a little bit with Salacious before we came on. I was posting pictures from WrestleMania on the IG, on the old Instagram, and you looking like the MB, the miserable bastard that you are.
Well, I mean, first of all, let's put it into context what these pictures were of.
Okay.
The one that was in question was the picture you posted of Team Rec.
Yeah.
Rhino, Edge, Christian, Kurt. I'm never too thrilled when I have to stand beside Rhino. So I was not happy.
So
also, the fact that I had to talk to him for 30 seconds previous to that annoyed me. So,
however,
I was mad.
It's Kurt's last match, and we're there supporting Kurtzky, and yeah,
embraced him after. We had a little moment after his match, so don't worry about it.
All right. Well,
Some
we'll
things don't
talk
need to
about
be captured
that.
for Instagram or Twitter, you know.
I agree, but the ones that are, you could at least like crack a smirk.
No, I'm a hard ass. Can't do it.
Yeah,
that's how I do it, yo.
Gangsta.
You want me to ruin my personas being a dick? Like just all of a sudden smile? It'd be nice.
Well, no, I think it just reaffirms the dictum.
Fuck.
Like you are the kingdom of dictum is owned by you. I think I just created a T-shirt for you. You're welcome. So before we go any further, let's just talk Hall of Fame before we get into Mania, before we get into TakeOver and all of that stuff. Hall of Fame, a little crazy this year.
Yeah, to say
a
the least.
little odd.
If there was ever any question that wrestlers, take care of their own, I think that was they were answered that night. But not a smart move, and I'm really not sure what was going through that dude's head.
Yeah, probably drugs. Shout out to Shane O'Mac, who was the first one there. Travis Brown, who was quickly the second, and to old Demolition Dash. Here comes the dash, and here comes the smasher. Sorry. I want to see him painted up now with little studs and everything. Demolition Dash.
Yeah.
But it was good to see everybody get, some great speeches. Beyond that, just a nice night. But yeah, at least had to touch on that. So, also, for the end of the show, I'm going to save it for the end of the show. In speaking about Shane O'Mac, I am going to give you the results.
I know where you're going with that.
Of this year's Mock Mania.
MMM? Triple M?
Triple M. It happened.
Yeah,
and
the results are in. So,
and you will get the results at the end of the show. All right. Moving on to TakeOver. You didn't go because, again, playing hard ass. You wanted to go and drink your vino or whatever it is you do.
No.
Beth and I went, and I got to tell you, I love going to takeovers. I love going to NXT, period, because there's no jadedness. It's just hunger and passion, and it's so fun and invigorating to be around this crop of talent that I think is just so immensely talented, and to see them doing what they do with, it doesn't seem like parameters or handcuffs and the freedom to, go out and tell and have the time to tell an amazing story and not have the constraints.
It's like
a Fox or whatever.
It should feel like its own show. Right, and it very much
does.
distinctly does feel like that when you go there, even the atmosphere. Because I did go in Phoenix, Royal Rumble weekend, and there's a different there's a feeling in the air there. The atmosphere is different, the vibe is different, and it's due to all those things that you just said.
The only thing I see from so many of these talents is like it's such a hard hitting, kind of Japanese influence style. It's just the longevity. That's the only thing I worry about when I see some talents, and then you start seeing injuries and things like that. And I hope that it goes back to even when we were doing the TLCs, and then Kurt and Benoit were doing the Germans, and I'm taking 12 Germans a night or whatever. Well, I end up with 2 neck surgeries. So I just hope that doesn't end up being the case, and that style, which is very physical and very demanding, doesn't catch up to everybody. All of that being said, I got to start off with the War Raiders and Black and Ricochet. And man, those War Raiders, they're so much fun. I mean, the whole presentation, the whole package, and then they get in there. And I liken them, for lack of a better comparison, to like the modern day, whether it's Demolition, whether it's the Road Warriors, whether it's of that ilk, but they can do stuff they have no right to do.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like, they're just so much fun to watch. And then you put them in there with those two guys who have quickly made this makeshift thing absolutely work. It was just a really, really cool atmosphere and fun match to watch.
No, I agree. And I think what you said there is, you have the differing styles, right? Different packages. And usually that makes for a good recipe for a good match. And especially when all parties are motivated like they always are. And I think that I know that Ricochet and Aleister Black are on the quote unquote main roster, but I think that them, losing, I think was also a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. But, and we've talked about Black and Ricochet on this show a lot. We're big fans of both of them. And we've talked about the War Raiders, but man, those guys, it's a really fun, the whole package, and they're a team through and through, and it just, it really makes for fun stuff, and just salivate thinking about some of the matchups, whether it's Raw and SmackDown eventually, that they could have. It's just really, really good stuff. Which leads me to Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle. And so I saw the first match, and I was like, damn, that's going to be tough to follow. Like that was a barn burner to kick, these things off. And the tag team matches that kick off NXT takeovers usually are. Then those guys went out there and did something completely different. And we all know Velveteen Dream and his character and just how dialed in he is to everything because he's been around NXT for a little bit. Matt Riddle,
right?
That kid's money.
Yeah.
He, especially when he turns heel, because he has the laid back thing, but his fire is really good. Really good, vicious fire, which when it's flipped on its head as a heel is going to be something to watch.
Yeah, we should also preface this with that the laid back thing isn't a gimmick. That's really him.
No, it's him.
Talked to him in the hotel. He was like, "Hey man, how you feeling?" "Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I had a really sweet match last night." And then it popped, both of us, right? Like, just that's the way he is. He's just a funny guy. But he's laid back, super chill. But I agree with you. Like I think that goes from his competitive days. That he understands when it's time to flip that switch and be serious. He can do it. And I think you're right. I think the real money with him is when he turns heel, because there's also a real believability to what he does in the ring.
Well, with anybody that he gets in there with, and his style and some of his switches and the way he goes into his holds, and it just really, really good, man. Like, I knew he was good. Then I saw that match, and I was like, he's next level good.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing.
And he does it in bare feet,
which is insane to me. I don't know how that's even possible.
Oh man, the worst. I took a bump once in bare feet, and I slammed the back of my heels. Never again. I'll never do it again.
And that's just it. Like, all the guys who've been barefoot over the years, like, think about it. They're, like Haku, Snuka, like, they're all doing stuff. It's not like, they're just stationary. Crazy.
Jam a toe.
Great.
Doesn't tickle.
I mean, all the matches were good. The 4-way, the women's 4-way. I mean, it's just the whole show was really, really well done. And then you come back to Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, and
right, yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah, I think too, when you have the time to, obviously, they have both have equity in their characters and what they've done over the last couple of years. But when you have the time to have a match like this. What did they have, like 30, 40 minutes?
45.
Something like that. It was, when you have that kind of time, and you can start slow like they did, with headlocks and switches and reversals and trying to one-up each other and, putting the, getting the point across that they're really evenly matched and both guys are ready for this moment. And I think that when you have that, when you don't have to rush into something too fast, when you can slowly just start to build and build and build, that you're ahead of the game at that point.
And we've talked about Johnny Kicking with the Ding Ding a lot. Johnny 5-star, we know what he can do. Going into this, though, he was kind of somewhere in between character-wise. He wasn't quite a babyface. He wasn't quite a heel. It was like they were trying to turn him fully back babyface. And his work, obviously, but Adam Cole was able to, by the end of that, have Johnny Gargano back to the ultimate underdog babyface. And yes, that's also Johnny's work too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But his work as a heel who's liked, by the end of it, they had them absolutely eating out of the palm of their hand and him fully entrenched as the babyface that he is.
Yeah. My only nitpick to the match was, and this is a little thing for me, is that I would have liked to seen a little more sustained heat in the middle of the match. You know what I mean? A little more scratching, clawing, and fighting underneath from Johnny in the middle of that match. That's my only critique on it. What I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, I just remember watching it and enjoying it. And
I'm not saying I
always
didn't
watch
enjoy
things.
Like I said, I'm not.
Yeah, but I always just watch things to enjoy
Right.
without critiquing or without thinking anything. I just want to see where it takes me. And by the end of that thing, man, it's so rare that you can hear an entire audience at a finish just go, yeah, like that guttural and that was an instance of it. It really, I remember saying they should have pulled the trigger against Andrade, and I'm so glad they didn't. And obviously they know the bigger picture better than we do. We're just two dumbasses that are, armchair arm dragging here. But that felt like the culmination of that story. You know what I mean? And it felt like it paid off properly, and it probably wouldn't have if it had happened, against Andrade. Yeah. So it's really good stuff, man. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah.
The what?
We're Chesterfield chinlockers.
Well, non-Canadians know Chesterfield.
Well, what?
Isn't that a Canadian term?
Yeah, it's like a British term. British, Canadian, Commonwealth. If you're in the Commonwealth,
okay, for you Americans, it's a couch.
Yeah. Chesterfield, that's what I said. Don't make me slap your ass on air. Just saying.
You are so, to the point where...
Ass slap. What?
I have way too many grown men telling me that, oh, yeah, is Jay going to slap your ass? Or smack it, or whatever it is that you say you want to do. What? I don't understand.
Why do you get so mad?
I don't. I just don't understand the fascination with my ass.
It's not.
It's cute. It's cute. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's just drop it.
All right.
If I sound a little lethargic, it's because I was sick the first 2 days I was home from, just saying. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you always sound lethargic.
All right.
Anyway, so WrestleMania, Brock moves his match up, so that it has to go on first.
I thought it was great,
and I mean, it kicked the show off. And like you said, if you can't go on last, go on first. And I guess he took
might as well bookend it with huge moments, right? I
think he waited until the last hour to state he wanted to do that. I don't know how cool that is, but
Well, I don't know the specifics of it. All I know is that it was a super long show, right? So
yes,
you started off with it, get them up right away. Why not?
Yep. I think the right guy won, and be better going forward for house show business anyway, and for TV business, to be honest. But.
We're also proving our theory here that we have no fucking clue what we're doing. We should back up just a little bit to the pre-show and talk about Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins for a second.
That is absolutely true. You're correct, and I was going to get there, but yes. Oh. Okay, fine. Pre-show. I
was going to say them winning the tag titles. It's a big moment for them. Obviously, Kurt Hawkins' streak is over, brother. But so happy for those guys. And they stick around. They're both talented. They both work hard. They both love the business, without question. So to see them get rewarded in that way, it's a good thing to see, and also have a great match with the two guys that we both are fans of, the Revival. We thought it was pretty cool, and we took a picture with them after, and it was funny because beforehand, Zack Ryder said to me, "Hey, make sure you watch my match tonight." And I said, "Okay, if I have to, I guess I will." So,
of course.
So I'm looking at the monitor and I'm thinking, why am I like, what's the big? And then I realize his tights,
his gear.
His gear. He had like modeled the color scheme and the design off of what I wore at WrestleMania 20 in Madison Square Garden, which he was obviously a fan at the time, wasn't in the business, but I thought that was pretty special, man, for him to do that. That meant a lot to me that he took it upon himself to do something like that. And I begrudgingly liked the kid,
And he tried to massage my feelings by saying, "But look, I got stars on the knee pads." But yeah, it was very cool. And oh Jesus,
sorry.
I felt like a proud papa, with those four in there, because we've talked about the Revival and kind of how we feel about them, and then obviously about Hawkins and Ryder too. It was just very cool to see the four of them in there, four guys that I love, and on a personal level as well, outside of what they do on screen. So it was really fun for me to watch that and just see, those four get in and have a great match, and also to see them, like you said, stick around 10 years after they first won those things, and someone reminded me, I said it in my Hall of Fame speech, like I singled them out and said, stick with it because you love it. And if you love it, eventually that can't be stopped. And with talent, obviously, too.
Right.
So I was very happy for them, happy for the Revival, I'm just happy for all of them. Yeah.
You're just happy for everybody.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah. Good for you.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah.
No.
And I know there was other stuff on the pre-show. We were on the pre-show, having disagreements, but that's okay.
Hey,
we both had sweet suits on, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah. We could have not said anything, just there for eye candy,
And we would have rocket strapped the whole show.
Oh, fucking strapped it to the moon, brother.
Okay, so back to Brock. Brock, man, that dude, there's just a different feel when he is in there. It's exciting. It feels dangerous. It feels like there is no plan, no nothing. Like, it could go any direction. And I like that. And that's why he's special. Not only that, the dude can work. The dude can sell. Everything he does means something. Yeah. It's, as much as I get it from a business standpoint in terms of, having your champion there and everything, I also get why he was champion, because it, for all of those reasons I just illustrated.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said that before too, it's not a bad thing to have a different feel of the champion for different brands, and he definitely was that. But I get, and we've talked about it before on this podcast many times, there's the distinct feeling that it could go off the fucking rails at any time when he's in there. And
I think does sometimes.
And it's scary. I mean, it's scary as a fan to watch, and I think that's what you want. You want that drama built in, right? It's like you're afraid for the guy that he's going in there with, and when Seth overcame that, when Seth overcame that, look at the reaction. I mean, look what the match meant. I mean, it's you can't deny that he is. There's nobody like him. There's absolutely no performer like him. And that's why, people can say what they want about his schedule and all these other sorts of things, but there's no other character like him. And if he was on every week, it would diminish that.
It would. And that's why Vince will always have an open door for him, I think. And there's a reason. And that really, there's something to be said about it. It harkens back to the days before kind of the veil was pulled back on this whole industry, where you weren't quite sure what was happening. That's what it feels like when he's out there. And that's money, Randy and AJ had a hell of a match, but apparently there was lights shining, glaring
I saw
in people's faces for half of it, which is a shame because they didn't get to see a hell of a match.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying with those two, obviously. It was a great match. But yeah, I mean, it sucks for people that were in that area where we couldn't see it. But the good news is you can watch it on the WWE Network anytime
nice
you want.
Plug. Nice plug. But, here's where it sucks, though. It sucks for those two because they're in there performing and they're at WrestleMania and you build your whole year toward this and it's a hell of a program and great promos heading
and you want everybody to see
it.
it.
And then half the audience can't see it, so they're not reacting where you want them to. And I know, as a performer, you're not going to know that light is beaming in half of that audience's face and going, what are we doing wrong here?
Yeah.
And when there's a reaction while Randy's on offense and they cheer, Randy's going, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't what I wanted.
Tough.
Meanwhile, they're cheering about fucking lights. But I digress.
You do digress.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Man, the bar is so much fun. That whole swinging and tolling the bell deal that they did with and he spun poor Ricochet the entire, it was just so entertaining. Really, really fun, good stuff. A lot of great teams in there. And, Ricochet and Black in their first WrestleMania, I thought they put a hell of a showing in. And,
it's one of these ones, too, where they've already seen a lot, and there's more to come after this, so you have to do something to make it different and stand out, right?
I talked to Black and Ricochet that day and just said, this is the first one, just make sure you soak it in. Take advantage of this, and it goes so fast, and it's going to fly once you're out there. So you got to give yourself that moment, almost before and after, to really just process this whole thing. And also, in doing that, you're going to get your breath. You're going to get your wind proper because you're going to be so stoked. Your heart's going to be, you're adrenaline dumping, all of it. So just if you do that, it also helps with that aspect.
Yeah, and like you just said, though, you gave him good advice there as far as taking it all in. And I always try to do that on shows like this because you never do know when it's going to be the last one. I mean, God forbid you're only an injury away from you can't think like that, but you never know. So whenever it was something special like that in front of a crowd that size, always try to just take it in for a second before we walked out there, just appreciate what it was that you got to go out and perform in front of.
And coming from that match, I got it. There's a couple of things that I saw. I was like, I would like to see Ricochet and Cesaro in a singles match. I think that would be, just that one thing they were. Ricochet spun around him 12 times and into a forearm. It's just really, really fun stuff. And I'd also like to see Nakamura and Aleister Black. That to me would be a very cool matchup of styles.
Just weird enough to work, brother.
I just feel like they'd mesh really well together.
Yeah, sure. They're just off center a little bit. They're just both different enough.
Yeah.
So
I think it'd be cool with their striking and everything. I think that'd be a fun match to see. And then the Phoenix one, huh?
Oh, the Phoenix one makes a return, brother.
Yeah. It doesn't miss a step. And sure, I'm biased, but I think it's pretty much universal. It looked like she hasn't missed a day, and I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, I think that she did do a good job. I think that all the women in this match really kind of held up their end, had a good showing. Like I said too, kind of late in the show, starting to get late, and they were, they kind of came through in that position. And I thought that every woman in here had a hell of a showing. And, for some, it was their first chance to wrestle on WrestleMania. And for somebody like Beth, who hasn't been on that stage for a long time, a chance to kind of come back and do it one more time. There's kind of both ends of the spectrum. And again, yeah, I thought they all did really, really well.
I mean, those matches, same with the SmackDown Tag Title match, those matches can be clusters. There's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of bodies, but I think everything was highlighted in such a way that, you were able to keep track of it without it just becoming a schmoz. And, I know for Beth, she's never had pyro at WrestleMania. She's never, had that before. No, I think it just overwhelmed her, honestly. And the fact that, she's talked about it. Owen and Brett at WrestleMania 10 was the reason that she became a wrestler. That was the match that solidified for her, this is what I have to do. And Owen and Brett were her guys. They were the reasons that she got into the industry, the reasons why, she fell in love with it, and part of the reason why her and Natty gravitated toward each other, because it's very real. That is all true for Beth, and Natty knows that. And they really are those friends, So to be able to come back and do this, and then have Brett come out and high-five them, knowing Brett, Beth's brain was exploding there. She wouldn't have even needed the match after that. That was her WrestleMania moment, was high-fiving Brett. Yeah. So I was happy for all of them. I thought everybody did a great job. Bayley took a damn lamb slam off the top like a champ, and I think the Iconics did it in very EandC-like fashion, and I mean that as a compliment. Right. Where they just snuck in and stole it, which is just the way to do it, girls.
Yeah, get that heat.
Yeah, brother.
And like we said about them before, you can't be. They have no reservations about what it is that they're doing, and you can't hold back when you're that type of character. You just got to put it out there and not be afraid to act a fool, so to speak. And they're doing act a fool, act a fool.
Yeah.
So,
and I think I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but Daniel Bryan and Kofi, was everything I was hoping it would be. The story they told, the story that, coming into it, and just this huge wave of support for Kofi, who, as we've said before, and when we had him on the pod, is one of the best genuine people I know. And you want to see a guy like that. And I had, some guy on Twitter say, well, I don't like the you deserve it thing. I'd rather you earned it. Hey, he deserves it because he earned it.
Right.
You don't get caught up in semantics. The guy has busted his tail and finally got to a point because the audience dictated it, that this needs to happen, and it did. And
listen, it happened so and the last person that something has happened to was Daniel Bryan. It doesn't happen. It happens infrequently. It doesn't happen that much when there's an organic groundswell this size, and that can't be denied, no matter what you try to do with it. And it was the same way with Daniel Bryan. It was the same way with Kofi Kingston. In some ways, it was the perfect storm that it happened while Daniel Bryan was the champion as a heel. And that made the story, to me, that much better.
It perfectly wrote itself. The fact that he was the guy and he was the heel that was on the other end of this now is just, an absolutely spectacular layer that you couldn't plan. It just... No. It had to happen.
And if you did, it wouldn't work. If you tried to plan it, it wouldn't work. And it was in the cards. And things happen. And when Kofi is that talented of a guy, and that when the opportunity was there, and he's always seized his opportunities, but this was the right moment. This was the moment that it needed to happen. And everybody's path is different, and this was his. So good for him.
And those opportunities have started, and every time he was killing it, and for whatever reason, they disappeared.
Right.
And this time, it could not disappear. It was just, it could not. And I want to also give, props to Bryan for his job in that match, too, because he played his part so well, so perfectly. And, I sat up
Not just in the match, in the whole build-up. You know,
without doubt, yeah.
You know, he was that foil for, like I said, that you know, he was that guy just a few years ago, and now he's sitting there telling Kofi he's a B plus player when that's all he heard. You know, before. I mean, it would just like I said, you couldn't write that stuff. It was just too good.
Yeah, and that was a hell of a match, hell of a story. And, you know, I sat up there in Gorilla watching it, and it was just much fun to watch. I was really happy for Kofi, happy for both of them, honestly, but Kofi obviously because of just everything. And after that, it's tough, man, because it feels like that's when the crowd blew their load, for lack of a better term. That's probably not the best way to put it, but it was, anything after that was going to be hard. And
yeah, I mean, it's a long show, it's a long night. It's hard.
I think they're 5 hours in at that point or something, you know? So it's very, very hard, you know, coming off of an emotional thing like that. It's like, it's very difficult. And I want to say maybe Drew and Roman were next. Really difficult position. And I thought those guys did what they could with it in terms of, you know, not that much build up and going on after that. You know, that's a very, very tough position. But I think, you know, both guys going forward, you know, will be just fine.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I think back to back after that was Hunter and Batista, and then Kurt and Baron Corbin. And I don't know of another WrestleMania, let alone two back-to-back matches where two of the guys retire.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think, you know, it was common knowledge. I don't think there was Dave. I mean, I think it was, you know, he was.
No, but what I'm saying is the fallout of it is I think the next day he announced he's retired, or that night he announced he's retired, and Kurt, we knew, was retiring. But like Batista and Kurt Angle retired in back-to-back matches. That's kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy. I thought Dave looked good. You know, I thought he looked real good. In
man, and he took some ugly bumps in there for not working for a while, man. Like, was it 5 years since he worked last?
Well, it's like we said before, like with a guy like Dave coming back, like, and he didn't need to come back. He doesn't have to come back. He comes back because he came back because he loves the WWE. He loves the business, and he wanted to go out, you know, the right way. And in his mind, he felt like he didn't get a chance to do that. So, you know, he's going to come back. He's going to bust his ass. He's going to put his best foot forward. And he doesn't need the paycheck. So he wasn't coming back for that. He was coming back for the right reasons. And I thought that was pretty obvious in this match.
Yeah, and I think people have now, you know, grasped that concept. Like he doesn't stop working in Hollywood. He doesn't need it. He's doing it because he loves it. And and yeah, wanted to finish it off right, and with the right opponent, with the right story. I mean, that's the guy who it needed to be with. And also kudos to Hunter, man. He would have gotten cleared like maybe a month ago from a torn pec. You know, usually it's like a 4 to 6 month clearance. So to be in that kind of shape, to be able to get in there for that long, and I mean that's not an easy prospect. That is some busting ass to try and get there in time for Mania. And didn't look like he missed a day. Obviously didn't look like he missed a day in the gym. And that's very difficult to pull off. And I think that part kind of got lost because he just looked like him. But for him to look like him, like I said, after probably being cleared maybe a month before, maybe 2 months, I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough thing to pull off, and he did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Kurt's last match.
I was multitasking,
you know,
sorry.
Of course you were. And then, you know, Kurt's last match, you know, I think Kurt would be the first to say, you know, it's time. And it, you know, it gets harder and harder, you know, with each match at a certain point, I think. And, it's a bittersweet thing to watch, right? Because, you know, I had Kurt's first match ever in a professional wrestling ring with him.
And after he had trained to do this for 4 or 5 days, and I'm out there in front of a crowd on a spot show in Massachusetts wrestling him, just using the few things that he learned in some amateur moves. And you could tell right away that the guy was natural, that he was going to be a huge star. And, remembering that guy, and then also, going on to be, he'll go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. And then, you see at the end, with all the injuries and all the things that his body's gone through, not to mention the fact like the broken neck from the Olympics, all that stuff. I mean, his body has been under stress for how many years from athletics and those sorts of things. So, it was obvious at the end that he's not what he was. So it's bittersweet because you want to remember him how he was, but you also want him to have that moment. And I think under the circumstances, he was still able to go out there and be Kurt Angle, even if he wasn't, the Kurt Angle, if that makes any sense.
It does. I mean, his body's been under fight or flight since, when did he start training for amateur wrestling? Probably when he was 4.
Right.
I don't know for sure, but it's going to be very young. In order to make it to the Olympics and win a gold medal, you had to start pretty young in amateur wrestling. So from that point forward, his body has been taking a pounding.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's true. No, I was going to say, I remember when I was training for the triple jump, how early I started.
Yeah, and how much duress your body was under for that too,
Right.
So, and having wrestled Kurt in his physical prime and at his peak, and knowing the pace that we would set and how his engine could go, it's tough to live up to that because there's very few athletes that ever had that. And I'm just happy that, he got a send-off and he got pyro and he got all of those things because not everybody gets that. So it was nice. It was nice to see him get that, even if people don't like the finish or whatever. You got to look at it this way. Well, he set up a heel on his way out.
Right. That's what I mean. Like you have a young heel who's going to be around for a long time, who's not going to get some heat out of it. So I think I think it was the right thing to do. And I think Kurt would agree.
And I've talked about it on the pod before, but Baron Corbin has heat, and that's a good thing. Yeah. If you don't like him, you can. There's
real heat is hard to get these days.
Yes.
So
yeah, and then the main event, the women. I think at that point the show had been going 7 hours. It was officially a different day when they went up there.
2-day extravaganza, brother.
I think people have talked about media being a 2-day thing. It now has been. I think Jeff Jarrett put it best as I was watching the replays of the Battle Royal, and he goes, "Hey, you remember that amazing Battle Royal yesterday?" Man, it's hard. It's really hard. But I thought they went out and did some really cool, innovative, stuff. And but I feel for any match that goes on that late. I talked about it with Taker and Reigns. Any match that goes on 7 or 8 hours into a show is put in a really tough position. However, it's the position you want to be in because it's the main event.
Right.
So it's
right. I mean, you were in that position
a tough
too,
one.
a while ago with Taker. You were in that, so you understand what it's like.
I don't think we were behind the 8 ball of like a 7 or 8 hour show, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was like 4, which they'll still be there for you at 4.
Yeah. Same thing. I thought they had a great match, and I think that I thought it started off like I love the entrance. I love Charlotte's entrance. I thought that was great. Made it feel big. And
harkens back to Great American Bash and Rick coming in on that helicopter too. So there's history there.
It made sense. Yeah, it was great. And I think that we talked about it many times, that the women were deserving of this spot this year to headline WrestleMania. And these were the 3 women to do it. And, all hot, all, hot, character-wise as far as...
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but
I know you're not an old perv.
Yeah, hot character-wise, as far as they're like is being 3 of the top acts in the business. So, it was a perfect the perfect timing for them to go out and main event, and they were all ready for it. And I think it was the right finish, and I think it was a really good. I wasn't sure where they were going with Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's title, but I thought it was added a little bit more to Becky's win, calling herself the champ. It's great.
Yep. It'll be interesting going forward where everything lands. I thought Raw and SmackDown were interesting, and the Hardys turning back the hands of time and working the Usos the first time ever. How that doesn't happen at WrestleMania, I don't know, but
no clue.
But it happened on SmackDown, and so I'd like to see more of those two teams.
I'm sure you will,
because I feel
the end of it, brother.
Yeah, because that just feels like one of those matches that you never necessarily thought you'd get to see, but it's one that you would want to see. Two sets of brothers from kind of two different generations. So that was a big week, Bird. I think we should get to Tommaso now.
Yeah,
right.
The Blackheart, he's not going to be too happy with us. He might take out his
probably not
frustrations on you. But
we
before we get to Tommaso, what?
We yapped too long.
Oh,
is what I said.
I should punch you in the face right now is what I'd love to fucking do. But before I punch you in the face, let me talk, man. I said before I punch you in the face and before we talk to Tommaso, I'm just going to tell you about, hey, it's 2019. Everybody needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. But before you go dropping hundreds of dollars on a pair, you need to check out the wireless earbuds from Raycon. I have these gigantic ear holes, right? Like I have really weird ears. Usually the kind of headphones that go over your... I need the ones with the big strap thing that go over your head or else they fall out of my ears. These ones, they have the different size little inserts and they fit in there perfect. I can run, I can go to the gym, I can take them on a plane, wherever, and they don't fall out of my gigantic ear holes. It's the best. Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound amazing.
The company was actually co-founded by Ray J and celebrities like Snoop Dogg, and they're already obsessed. You see, Raycon's E50 wireless earbuds have totally changed the game for me personally. They're comfortable, and they're easy to take anywhere. I can run, I can do whatever I want to do. They don't fall out, because again, they fit right in your ear perfectly. Unlike some of your other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet, with no dangling wires or those stupid little stems. And of course, they don't just look great, but they sound great too. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds for everyone in a range of fun colors at an unbeatable price.
Go to buyraycon.com and use promo code ECPOD20 to get 20% off your order. That's promo code ECPOD20 at buyraycon.com for 20% off Raycon wireless earbuds. If you've been eyeing a pair, now is the time to get an amazing deal. One more time, buyraycon.com, promo code ECPOD20.
All right, so we're sitting here, three bumbling idiots in a hotel room. First time we're trying this. We're holding microphones to our faces because we're all technically illiterate. But we have Tommaso Ciampa.
Holding microphones, but like holding headsets.
Well, yeah, not even microphones.
Holding microphones
You're right.
would
You're
be
right.
normal. We're holding headsets.
There's another layer to add to this, is that Adam and I are sharing a headset with a microphone because for whatever reason our units won't take the third one, not those units, but the unit the microphones go into. And the funny thing is, when I walked in the room fashionably late like I always do, I walked around the corner and said, let's get this shit show started, and it pretty much rang true. This is a shit show already.
Completely. It's unfortunate because we're not going to hear the laughter between the two of you back and forth now.
That is true. But this is big because we've chatted before and wanted to do this. We just never knew if the time was going to be right.
Yeah.
And you actually decided the time was right.
Yeah, I mean, my career's over. So what's the matter?
Jesus. Well, that one's off to a fiery start.
All these tweets about breaking kayfabe. Who cares, guys?
And what if there were whatever little pieces were left? We're taking them all down right now.
Oh yeah. This is like the opposite of rocket strapping.
Yeah. The reverse rocket strap is a thing.
Fact.
It is. It's a fact. You can be reverse strapped just as quickly as you can be strapped, and that's the way it goes. Hey, you can see Starbucks from your room. I'm really annoyed.
I'm now taking it back because He has ADD. Like he'll see a squirrel go
obvious.
by. It's so obvious. I don't think he took his meds. He's chewing. He's grinding his teeth.
I took caffeine for this podcast. Is that weird?
No,
Not even lying. Like sat in my room all day long.
Yeah.
I didn't leave once. I left once to
You got donuts, you liar. I saw you.
I went down to the lobby for Uber Eats, which somehow Edge has never used. Got donuts, and then I took a nap, and then I took caffeine just to do this. So I was like,
why don't you drink coffee?
I don't like the taste. I want to like the taste.
So here's the thing. You and I, we talk a lot. We text, we email. I feel like this is now a huge wedge in our relationship. Because at some point, when I'm buddies with somebody, I say, let's go get a coffee.
Right. Coffee drinkers, it's like a cult.
It is.
Yeah. Like
and now we can't do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't sit with the old man leg cross like I'm sitting right now, we might have another problem too.
Yeah.
Not going to do it, are you?
No.
I
have like the reverse leg cross.
I know you do. You got a figure four going on.
Yeah.
The Texas Cloverleaf. We can get back to like starting 14 years ago and all of those things, but take us through the last, I don't know, like when did you start feeling like something's up?
Like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's this like, because everyone asks us, is it a bump? And there's no like one bump, but if there was a pinpoint time where the first time I ever felt a neck thing, it was taking a high-low in like 2006. And I won't even say who from, just because it feels like you kind of put the guilt on someone. But it was a high-low that I took in 2006 where I remember distinctly like landing high neck. It was I was doing a dark or something like that for WWE at the time. And I think I've told the story once before, but it was the first time I met Sean and the first time I met Mick Foley. And it was really weird because I came back from the match and first Foley came over to me, and Foley of all people, and he's like, Jesus Christ, that's the worst bump I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, and I was with Kofi at the time because him and I were tagging in the match. And I just remember being like when he walked away, like, wait, what just happened? Like, how is it the worst bump he's seen? And I've never seen the footage of it, but I landed high on my head. And then Sean came over to me, like, I don't know, like 20 minutes later. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, he's like, I need you to be honest with me. He's like, we're going into a program with those guys. Are they safe? And completely bold-faced lied straight to. I didn't lie straight to. It's not that they weren't safe, but lied straight to his face. I was like, no, I didn't even feel the bump, man. But when I took the bump, I mean, I had that weird sensation of like losing feeling. So that I guess was the start of it, if there was a start. But it got real bad after I came back from the surgeries. I started so I came back last Mania, and somewhere a couple months into that, I started just getting stingers constantly. And then in December, I always got them down my left arm. In December at a live event, I got one down my right arm. And from that point on, something happened clearly because it was just like every match.
So this was before you were under contract?
Well, no, I'm saying they got progressively bad.
Yeah, but this particular bump?
Way back. Yeah, because like, you know how it is when you're on the independent.
Yeah.
You get periodic things.
Well, I think the move should have been there when Sean asked you that. You should have said, well, if I bury them, will I get a job? You should just buried him.
Yeah. No, I was real scared. I was 20 years old and timid.
And there's the way Jay deals with things. So, because you had your knee done, which you blew out in
the ladder match.
In the ladder match, continued the match, did a splash through a table, kind of landed on your head on that too, which probably didn't help the old neck ski. So when you were out with the knee, you got both shoulders done too?
That was a nightmare. It was legitimately a play. It was a wild play because the shoulders we were sitting on for a long time. Because I don't know if you've had, like, I had torn labrums in both. But like when you have a torn labrum, it's like all the doctors will tell you, hey, it's kind of manageable. You can work on it until you can't handle it yourself, you know? So we were doing tons of physical therapy. Like every day I'd go into the performance center, whether it was early or late, stay, and I'd do all sorts of stuff with the medical staff there. So it was manageable, but we always knew, like, hey, when the time's right, we're going to fix these things. So when the knee happened, it was like, well, you have to be out now for about 9 months.
So why not?
Yeah, so we had literally scheduled in my. I don't know if we had the app at the time, but I had scheduled dates of like, yeah, your knee surgery is here. 6 weeks later, it's your right shoulder. 6 weeks later is your left shoulder. So I was in Birmingham like so many times.
I want to see that calendar.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. Yeah, and every time I would take a photo with the surgeon, putting up like the first time I just put up the one finger just because like lame wrestler guy. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Number one.
I was like looking. I was like, wait a second. So the second time we put up 2 fingers, the third time 3 fingers. I got a photo with Cordova this time. Put up
to
4.
do the 4 horsemen.
Oh yeah. I was like, God, I don't know how far we're going with this thing.
Man, well, I will say, because I have a torn labrum in my right, never got it fixed. Wish I have, because
game changing when you fix it.
And I didn't fix it. And in not fixing it, my shoulder would pop out, tore the pec, didn't get the pec fixed. Right. And I still, to this day, regret not having gotten it done. So, and I know we had the discussion with the neck and kind of, it's almost like a brother and sisterhood. Once you find out somebody needs a neck done,
you're in the club.
You're in the club. Mm-hmm. It's not a good club, but you're in it.
Yep.
And but what is good about it is that you have a network of people to be able to say, okay, is this normal? Is this cool? What do you think? Right. So I know when we talked about it, and at first you were going to try and work through it.
I tried for a while.
Yeah. But at a certain point, it's your spine. And I think it's the right decision to get it done and just and bite the bullet. How do you feel post now in terms of that?
I go down the rabbit hole sometimes of just negativity, and I try not to, but I do. But everyone's neck injury is so unique, and mine was one of those because I do see some of the stuff on social, like, and there's fingers being pointed and blame and stuff, and it's so silly because like no one knows. What when you're the one in it all. And it wasn't one bump. It wasn't like, oh, they added this part to his schedule. It has nothing to do with that. Like, this injury we knew surgery was coming. I was getting these tests constantly. Medical staff was taking care of me. Everyone was taking care of me. And it was just one of those things where like the symptoms I was showing, I wasn't at this risk of paralysis per se. Like my spinal column wasn't in jeopardy with what I was showing. And all of a sudden, whatever was happening over the course of the last few months, because I have the spinal stenosis like you did, did. That must have progressed, and that's when everybody had to like kind of say, wait a second, like there's no more risking this. So it's a weird one because you go into the surgery, and I think we talked about this before. It's different than every other injury. Like when you hurt your knee, you're like, I cannot perform on this. I need this fixed. When you hurt your neck, you feel like you can perform. So it's a mental game of like it's hard for you to grasp as the performer where you're like, wait, why do I have to fix this? It's like, well, there's this higher risk, but you don't feel that way. Like I was still in the gym, I was still training, I was doing everything. So, but now that it's over with and it's done, I mean, you talked about this before, like you wake up symptom free. And you can suddenly open your hands and grip and close them, and you can sleep, and it's crazy. So it's like, oh yeah, I needed that.
And I think now too, from when you had your surgery, like these procedures are constantly getting better and easier, and the recovery process is probably much easier than it was back when you had yours done. I mean, it's still not an easy surgery, but to have the peace of mind, like when you're a performer, you're afraid to be away, especially when you're hitting your stride the way that you were. You were in the zone, you were doing great things, exactly, pretty much where you want it to be. And then this happens and it feels like a setback. But, having that like kind of knowledge of, I'm going to be better for having this. And like I said, I feel like the surgeries are probably a lot more advanced at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when talking to the surgeon, like I was so freaked out getting neck surgery, especially this young. And like talking to him going into it, my wife came with me and the baby and everything. And I remember him leaving the room and my wife just looking at me like, this is like brushing his teeth for him. Like he does this every day, numerous times. And it really put us at ease where I was like, oh, like, yes, it's foreign to me. This is my first time, but this guy does this all the time. And he was so confident that it really did. It kind of let us relax mentally,
I think too, they know, the surgeons, being the surgeons, know there's a different mentality and mindset, and all of us have it, or we wouldn't be where we got to.
Right.
And I think they know in dealing with athletes or performers or whatever, that there's a different mindset that, oh, this guy's going to be fine. You know, to what level of fine, who knows? But he's going to be fine because he has that work ethic. He has that drive. So I think that's why they can be a lot more laissez-faire. Ooh.
Wow. Where'd that come from?
You're welcome, everyone. With it, because they know that, you know, I talk to when I go and do therapy for something after surgery, which sounds really pathetic.
So common.
Yes. But every time I've gone, they're always like, oh man, we wish we had everybody were like you guys.
Yeah. The difference is it's like you'll listen, like whatever you tell me to do, I'm just going to do it.
I'm going to do it and do it hard and do it like as many times as it needs to be done, and then some.
And the strangest part with this one is, so with the knee and shoulders, I remember putting a post out at some point, and I was in rehab like 3 to 9 hours a day. And it wasn't even like exaggerating. Like my normal 9-hour days where I would go to Performance Center at like 8:30, 9 a.m. and I'd stay there till they were shutting down the doors around 5 p.m. And then on the weekends, I would just put in like a few hours, and I felt like I was being lazy. Like I would do pool workouts and stuff. This one is complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, don't do anything. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, no, 5-pound dumbbells, no elliptical. Like you can just walk. So I walk the dogs 3 or 4 times a day and I do nothing. So that's actually hard. Like mentally, you're like, I want to sweat. I want to work out. but I guess that's the
it's the protocol.
Yeah.
It is the protocol, and it is weird, and it is demoralizing because with the knee, with the shoulder, right out of the gate, you're doing something
immediately.
This is the opposite. It has to take around those. Your bone has to fuse around those screws, and it has to hold and take. And there's some patience involved with that, and that's where the mental gymnastics come into it. Because now you're sitting on your couch and you're watching TV, and there's only so much TV you can watch before you go, I have to go do something. So, and that's why I know we've talked about it, even just in terms of the physicality, but there is also an emotional aspect to any surgery, but specifically with this one, I think, because there's that downtime initially of just kind of waiting and wondering how's it going to work out. And then once you do get the clearance, it's a game changer in terms of, you know, mentally just starting to get the blood flowing again and all of those things. But, you know, like you said, though, every neck injury, every neck surgery, every recuperation is different. And how your body reacts and adapts and everything. So that was to me the biggest piece of advice that I took when, like, Austin called me after my neck surgery. He said, just take your time, kid. And that really helped to hear it from a guy like him to go, okay, I better take my time. And it's frustrating. It's all of those things, but that's all normal because of the way we're all wired.
Right.
And because of how, I mean, you're firing on like 12 cylinders.
Yeah. When you're in the mix, like it's all going so fast, but it doesn't feel that way. And then the second you get out of it and everything slows down, it's a really weird adjustment because, I mean, going into especially takeovers, like the training picks up, the dieting picks up, and everything was picking up, and especially with the Raw and SmackDown and everything, like we were just, you adjust and adapt so fast that when that all gets taken away, it was funny, like just flying out here to New York this weekend. It was the first flight I took in, I don't know, 5 weeks or something. And you're instantly just out of it. Like packing even, I'm like, oh, I gotta, like you have such a system when you're in it that you're just like, you pack like, it's mindless packing. This time I'm thinking about like, oh, what do I have to bring? I really didn't need to bring anything.
Like an anxiety, right?
Yeah.
You're like, how do I do this again? You've done it for so long.
And going on it was a 2-hour flight. I'm like, this is the longest flight ever. So it's really weird, it's just like, I don't know. And like we were obviously excited as could be to get to this stage in the feud, and like I don't know what that last television taping would have entailed. I mean, I have an idea of where creative was going, and it's tough because anytime someone gets hurt, I think I'm always the first to be like, listen, like enjoy the time off. Like, this is your off season. Like, clear your head of this and get away from it. And, you know, big shows happen. Like, I'm pretty good buddies with Tegan Knox, and you know, she was one of the ones I talked to a lot about it, because just when she came back and got hurt again, all this the evolution's going on right now, and the women's empowerment, everything's happening, and she's missing a lot of stuff. And I always say to her, like, anytime you miss a big show, the next big show's around the corner. You know, you miss WrestleMania, there's another WrestleMania coming. And the tough thing for me for this one specifically was going into New York, NXT champion, main eventing. It's WrestleMania weekend, and we're blowing off this 4-year program. And it's hard for me sometimes to think, like, there is a next one that's bigger. Like, you know, a piece of me was like, maybe this is the biggest one. So that's been the hardest part of this whole process for me, is wrapping my mind around, like, will there be a bigger one? And like, will you fully recover? Will you fully recover and perform at the level that you performed at before? Because I think I'll fully recover. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I'll live a happy life with my daughter and my wife and all that. It's just like, can I do that and take on the road schedule and the physicality of wrestling? So that's been a really hard part for me to wrap my mind around. I don't know. I guess we'll just see.
So, you know, TakeOver happened last night.
Yeah.
You see Johnny, you see Cole go out
and kill it. Yeah.
I know that's hard.
Yeah.
There's no good way to, you know, it's hard. It just is.
Yep.
But this is how I always tried to look at things. No matter what happens, you're going to come back. It's going to be as a babyface, because now people have seen kind of the inner workings because of what was on the PC YouTube special and everything, and they see they see you.
Yeah.
You know, and you haven't put you out there ever. And we've talked about it on this before, how you were like the only guy who just kept it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, when I was away too for those surgeries, one, I knew I was turning heel. Like, it was like Johnny and when we came in as a babyface tag team, underdog, undersized guys, that was worst case scenario for me. Like, when I was on the independents, like that last run I had after leaving Ring of Honor and doing the independents and doing Progress and AAW and stuff, I really found myself, and like I developed a psycho killer persona, and things were clicking on like all cylinders. So coming here, I was on like super high on confidence and everything, but then I was thrown in this like underdog babyface tag team, and I wasn't really, I didn't do much tag team stuff on the indies. I definitely did not play that character, and that was Johnny's forte. So I really kind of came in thinking like, I'm just going to kind of ride his coattails, let him do the workload, because he's right up his alley and I'm not, and I'm just going to, you know, play my role, hoping one day maybe I would get to flip the switch and kind of do what I do. So like going away and knowing I was coming back to that heel thing, like it was the best thing ever. And now, like you said, the time away, you guys would talk about a lot, and especially Chris, a lot on this podcast of, you know what NXT is missing is a heel. And I felt that way the whole time I was away. And I was like, God damn, you're right. And I'm going to do my darndest to fill that void, because I play a different heel than most people play. And I also knew, like, if you commit to this thing, then people are going to lose their minds. Because it's funny, there's always these, if you have your finger on the pulse, there's always these different trends in wrestling. And the trend that wasn't happening at that time was somebody committing to kayfabe. Like, everybody was doing the opposite.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, realizing that you're not going to get any adulation, right? Some people need a little bit of that.
For sure.
And not having any redeeming qualities.
Yes.
Nothing means like social media. Like sometimes, you know, you'll see people go out and play heel, and then on social media they'll be like, "Oh, you know, Green Bay, you were such a great crowd tonight."
100%.
And then just to me, that the heel part goes away when that happens.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was that social media, everyday life, whatever it was, that you were living that. It wasn't just a character at that point.
Just a visual for the people at home.
How is that?
So Edge has the headset on, and Christian is really, really close. Like, I mean, kind of making out, holding. Oh, that's great. That is. Hard to take that serious.
Well, I didn't help facial expressions.
And we just got a text from our producer saying Jay needs to be even closer.
Even closer.
All right. We're rubbing beards
I
at this
love
point,
it.
folks.
But yeah, I mean, you're spot on. Like, it went in my head for it to work. Especially like Johnny and I lived together and with Candace and the whole thing, and people they knew that because when we were doing the DIY thing, we were pretty open on social media about all of that. I never offered it. It was kind of weird because the running joke in our apartment complex was like, Johnny's the married one, and he's just living with them, and it's like Three's coming. It's this weird thing. And
First Three's company.
It was so weird, and it was the perception, and I was like, well, why should I change that perception? People are digging that concept. I know I'm married and I got this life going on. They know it. And it's like, it didn't benefit us to change the perception. So we kind of just left it alone. I never said I wasn't married. But I just offer up any information. Yeah. So all of a sudden when the heel flip turn happened, I was like, well, nobody knows anything about this personal life of mine right now, unless they followed me on the independents. So I was like, I just don't have to tell them. And then it like everything just snowballed. It's like, well, why put out merch? Like if I give them merch, they're gonna dig it and buy it and wear it, and even like catchphrases with promos stuff. I always was like very aware, like my cadence cannot be a cadence where they can catch on and finish my sentences. I can't have anything catchy. I can't give them it just once it got going, and then we have Sean at the PC and we're in his class and he's digging it, and he got real into it with Johnny and I in the program and stuff. So like once you have that, and then you have Hunter of course is behind it big time, and everyone's on board and they're kind of reaffirming like, yes, this is working. And it's just like, whoa, what's the next thing I can do? Like, So my brain was just on like rapid fire,
And just the presentation too, no music, all of those things initially. And you could feel like this, you can always feel the groundswell happening if you're really attuned to the industry, and you can start to see things that are about to happen and go, okay, this is going to get big.
Right.
I'm going to say, too, a lot of it depends on the actual turn as well, right? Like, I mean, nobody saw the turn coming when you turned on Johnny and how you did it. And I think that kind of set the plate or set the table, so to speak, for your heel turn and for it to work.
Right. It's funny, too, because I think it works so well. Like, so much of it was organic. Dating all the way back, like obviously we come in for the Dusty Classic and we start tagging, and it was literally just here's an opportunity. We weren't signed. It was very much like basically Regal seeing us and saying, hey, there's something I see in these kids, and I know we don't have a role for them right now, but let's just see what happens. So like from that to Johnny and I starting to like, talk to each other, and we're figuring out, like, we both knew right out the gate our money was facing each other. So we knew that, but obviously you're going to play your role and be a soldier. And then when the Cruiserweight Classic came up, like that was the first piece of this whole thing where I wasn't going to be in the Cruiserweight Classic. They had their list together, and I did, like, I forget how we found out, if it was a text or what it was, but we found out that he was in and I was. And ironically, how all of our stuff has happened through injury, I got hurt at a show in, I think, Ohio or something. It wasn't anything major, but it was enough that it was the Arnold Classic weekend and they pulled me off the Arnold Classic, but I was still there. And I'm there and I'm not doing anything. So obviously I have a lot of time on my hands, and Hunter's there because it's not Arnold Classic. And I'm like, Johnny and I are talking, and we're like, God, this Cruiserweight Classic thing is coming up. I'm not in it. You're in it. And we're not going to get it's not going to benefit us at all to do it this way. And I just approached Hunter and was like, I'm just going to throw it out there. And kind of the way I pitch everything, I pitch it as, I'm just going to put this idea out in the universe, and if you like it, cool. And if you don't like it, no hard feelings, whatever. And that's exactly what I did with him. And I said, listen, I know I'm not in the Cruiserweight Classic, but you guys have, I think, 16 matches on night one. And obviously 16 guys have to just come and just lose. Let me be one of them. and let it be versus Johnny. And we'll give you a close to the show, at least, that you know you're going to get a main event caliber match. I was like, it can just be like a one-off. And if we revisit it, awesome. If we don't, we don't. I said, but at least we can give you a main event for that first night, 16 matches deep. You know, the crowd's going to be burnt out and whatever. And that's it literally just started with that. And them saying, yeah, you know, that's not a bad idea. And it was that night we felt it in the air at Full Sail, because it was match 15 and two dudes came out, and all of a sudden the crowd started to go, wait a second, the only two guys left are Johnny and Ciampa. We're going to see them fight tonight. And you could feel it in the air. And then we went out and delivered, and it was just like, I think right then, that night, everybody in the back started to go, we have something here.
And watching, that's when I went, okay, there's something here, because in 11 minutes, I think it was 11 minutes long, right?
It was short. Yeah.
You guys packed in, and in a good way, not an overdone way. Like, I remember watching, I went, damn, that was only 11 minutes long. It felt like a half an hour long match. Yeah. And I think sometimes you got to put that stuff out in the ether, and you got to take that chance, and you got to open that rapport with someone like a Hunter or a Vince. Just throw ideas out there, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, well, great. At least you put it out there and you tried. But in watching that match, I remember thinking, okay, there's something there that they need to follow up on. And the clear and obvious thing was, you're the heel. Yeah. And he's the uber baby face. So when all of that starts to, when you see that actually starting to happen, how excited are you? How much of a plan is there? I don't think you had everything that's happened planned, but I mean, happenstance and happy accidents along the way to elongate this thing to where it is now. Even more so now with this. Yeah. I mean, it really just stretches everything out even more. But throughout all of this, is there any point where you're pinching yourself and going, how's all of this? Oh, all of it. Yeah. I mean, because Cruiserweight Classic, when that happened, we're still not signed. Yeah. You know, so it for us, it was like, we both knew that night. I was like, okay, we've kind of earned ourselves a spot here. And put your best foot forward. Yeah. And so it's and that's all it is. Like, every time you hear anybody talk, they're like, when you get up to the main roster, you have to build that relationship with Vince. So it just made sense to me that, all right, well, I'm not on the main roster, but I'm here, and Hunter is the Vince here. So I better build a relationship with him. And the only way that, like, we knew how is, like, we have to build equity. Like, we have to put ourselves out there and ask for the brass ring per se, and then deliver. And it started small. And then, like, even so, after the Classic happened, I don't remember if we got our contracts right before TakeOver Brooklyn or shortly after, but that was the first TakeOver we did, and we wrestled Revival. And going into that, Johnny has the best memory ever, so he would know every spot of this whole thing. But we were close to our contracts, and we were getting ready to do the angle and do the split there. And I remember a couple weeks prior to Brooklyn, reaching out again. We contact Hunter again. At this point, we have a good enough relationship with him that we can get a hold of him pretty easily. And it was like, hey, every time you guys have somebody win a title at TakeOver, they come out with a new shirt leading up to it. I was like, let's just throw any sort of shirt out there with a tag team name, and it's going to really swerve people. They're going to think we're going to win the titles in Brooklyn, but we know we're going to turn on each other. It's just like a little Easter egg out there, you know what I mean? And that's how DIY became a thing, because they were like, oh, we have to put a shirt together, and however the meetings happened and DIY became a thing, they throw it on a shirt, and then we go into Brooklyn, and that match obviously got people talking, and it was the weirdest, not the weirdest. We had so many interesting conversations with Hunter and the creative staff throughout it. But I remember after that TakeOver, you have TV tapings the following Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure the turn was supposed to happen. And I just remember us sending Hunter a message like, hey, clearly there was, something's here. And if you guys want to push this thing off and run with this tag thing for a while and make it mean even more, we'd be happy to do whatever you want. And I just remember him responding to me, you guys would be open to that? And us two thinking, wait a second, open to it. We're open to whatever you want.
Right. It was just an interesting, and honestly, it was that's our relationship with it. We're very fortunate. And it's it's a compliment to him that he's so open to creative input and letting guys sink their teeth into stuff, and he understands, like, as the talent, that you have your finger on the pulse and you feel it, and clearly you're putting more thought into it than anybody is. So he's very open to the discussion. He's not always going to go with every idea, but he's open to it. And that was when we started to go, oh crap, like once he kind of was like, yeah, let's put it off, and we were building to Toronto in the 2 out of 3 falls match, like at that point we just knew, like, no matter what, this thing is going to be special. And then it just, 900 different things happen out of your control that led to it being what it was. And it definitely wasn't supposed to be 4 years long, but we're happy it was,
Well, and I think also too, like you kind of alluded to earlier, in that you do the Cruiserweight Classic, you're not even on contract. Everything that you two have had to do, you really had to work for.
Yeah.
Nothing was handed. You didn't walk in.
And the crowd, like,
they know that.
Led us that, yeah.
They know that,
yeah.
And I think it's easier to get behind that kind of story.
They were part of the journey.
And calling you guys DIY, because you really were.
Yeah.
And obviously the audience is helping with that because they hop on board. But the reason they're hopping on board is because they're seeing this thing happen. And then you guys get the revival.
Right, which if you're going to be a tag team babyface, like, and so there's so much luck that goes in. For me, it's like, oh, great, I get the best babyface in the business as my tag partner when I'm not in this role that I'm comfortable with, and then you get the best heel tag team in the business.
Yeah, but you make your own luck in a sense too, right? Like, you said that you just threw it out there to the universe. You just talked to Hunter about it. Like, they need to know that you have a passion and that you care about what you do. So,
and his face, man, it's just his face. They're so close to you. I wish people at home knew how close you guys were, just rubbing cheeks.
Even if your idea gets shot down,
right,
you're still throwing stuff out there. You're still trying to advance not only yourself but the program, the show. And as another wise Canadian, much like Adam and myself, more so me, once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That was Wayne Gretzky, in case you're wondering. But you have to sometimes just throw it out there and see what happens. And you make your own luck, and you definitely did that.
Right.
Well, I tell you, Gretzky would put the mic closer to his fucking mouth.
Pick on, man.
There'd be that. Son of a bitch. Yes, good point, Birdman. So you guys have this series with the Revival. Obvious chemistry. I mean, ridiculous chemistry. And you guys become tag champs. Everything is pushed off, like you said.
Right.
When was it decided, like, okay, now we're going to do this. Now's the time to pull the trigger. Now is the time to, to roll into this thing and get you in basically the role that you feel most comfortable in, and obviously where Johnny's most comfortable.
Well, I think after the revival thing lasted all the way till that WrestleMania, because that's when they were, I think, getting called up. But after the Toronto one, it was we knew that our job essentially was to build the next heel tag team, which was AOP, who at the time AOP wasn't as experienced, so it kind of benefited everybody for, okay, well, we'll put these two guys with them, and it was our job to kind of just teach them on the job type of thing, while obviously they have the it factor of their look and presence and size and Paul Ellering and all that. So it was just like our job was to get them over, essentially, and to build them as monsters. So that kind of like put the turn on hold, because if Revival lost the tag titles to us and they were going up and we just turned on each other and dropped the titles, like, well, that does nothing for the program. Yeah. So that's kind of the next thing that put everything on hold. And we were building with AOP. We had our first match with them, and then we go to the 3-way match at Mania and everything. So I think that's when we started to realize, like, okay, once AOP was cooking and they were ready to go, and the tag division had some new tag teams ready to like kind of fill that role that we've been behind, it was like, okay, now the time's ready. We're ready to move on from this. And I think that Chicago takeover is the first time that takeover got added to the schedule, because at that point it was 4 takeovers a year. Yeah. Chicago got added as 5th, and Chicago's the best wrestling city there is. There's so many up there, with Phillies and Torontos and New Yorks and stuff, but Chicago's just amazing. And it was like, well, this is perfect in every way. And it just made sense that our job was kind of fulfilled in the tag team division. There wasn't much left to do there. And that's when the decision was made to go forth with the turn. And obviously the injury happens and it puts everything on hold, and it's a blessing in disguise because all the crowd wants to do is tell me that I suck and they hate me. Well, you can't do that for 9 months. And that's what, and then he, of course, goes and has the matches he had with Andrade. And it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, people got to see just how freaking good he's the best wrestler there is. You know, I say it to anybody. Like, the kid made me. Like, you know, I give him so much credit for what he did for me in a tag team and then feuding with him. But he goes and does that thing with Andrade the night I'm going to come back and turn on him, or I guess continue the turn and hit him with the crutch. And that really, I feel like that was one of those things that catapulted this feud. The fact that they go out there and have this 5-star match and just tear the house down, and it's so emotional, and he just comes up short of winning the title. And then I just come out and hit him with a crutch. Like, what a dickhead. And if he doesn't have that great of a match, I don't know if it has the same impact.
Without a doubt.
You know?
And I remember we talked about it after that. I was like, man, I wish they pulled the trigger on him and did it. Now seeing how everything is played out in the long range plan and not knowing it, it all worked so well. You know, last night when he won the title, it's very rare that you hear the reaction from an audience where it's that guttural, yeah, like you had almost 20,000 people say yeah at the same time. Yeah. And it was just, but that's because of this storyline and him almost getting there, and you always there to knock his knees out from under him. But also around this time, Aleister Black comes in. He's firing all cylinders too. He becomes champ. You guys have this storyline going on. What point was it decided that, okay, we're going to, you know, have you take the title from him? That, to be honest, I mean, that shocked the hell out of me because there was the argument of like, you know, the feud doesn't need the title or whatever it be. And I think when I returned in January, I wasn't cleared, you know, I was just cleared for a little physicality, hitting him with the crutch type of thing. And I finally got cleared for the WrestleMania in New Orleans for the match. And I think it was just one of those things where, I know that there was a lot going into the decision of letting us main event that without the title being in the main event. And it was one of those Hunter calls for sure of like, it was, there was something to it. It was special. You couldn't like put your finger on it. And I think it ended up being the right call, you know, for all intents and purposes. And I don't know when the decision of the title switch happened. I do remember getting the Iggy from Sean where it was maybe like a week or two out from the TV taping. And I forget how the conversation went, but I had just kind of looked at him and I was like, hey, so should I have my wife here for the TV coming up? Obviously, I knew the title match was happening. Yeah, I already promoted that. And he's like, oh, nobody clued you in? And I was like, no. And he goes, it's going to be a good night for you. You should probably bring your wife and family here. Yeah. And that was it, you know? I was like, okay. So I don't know, you know, because in one sense, I kind of felt for Aleister a little bit because I felt like, you know, the night he won the title, he wasn't in the main event. Mm-hmm. And then his next one, I feel when Johnny and I then did whatever that was, No Holds Barred, whatever it was. He had like Lars and some one-offs. Right, he did, yeah. He wasn't like sinking his teeth into anything.
Yeah, and I think too, as a babyface champion, the last thing you want is to have, like you said, a match that when you're the champion that isn't the main event, the story... And with the story is more important than the world title. You don't want to be the babyface champion in that situation, in my opinion. I think you guys, it was so organic. The story that was being told, it did make more sense to have the title on you, and you know, in a sense, even make that even more personal with you and Johnny, in my opinion.
Right, and adding Aleister to the mix too was, I mean, he's so damn good that added this weird dynamic that no one planned for that ever, you know. But the title match with him, the response that night, I have, again, like you're not in the meeting, so you don't know what the discussion is. But I know that there was definitely it was kind of up in there, like I don't know if that was going to just be like hey, let's get this great TV reaction and shock them and let Ciampa win the title. And I don't know that I was going to keep it all that long. But then the response to that was just, it was nuts. And the snowball effect that it had through social and everything, it was it kind of forced hands a little bit of like, oh crap, we probably shouldn't pull the rug out too soon on this. Let's let this live and breathe a little bit. And then I know that there was a point where we were supposed to go and have that 3-way match with Johnny, Alistair, and I, and we were so freaking excited for it because it added this dynamic to the feud and everything. And obviously Alistair then gets hurt. So, but it was, so I don't know exactly when the decision was made. I would assume that the April New Orleans show, and that really was honestly, it was, the pressure of that was ridiculous because it was my first match back from 3 surgeries. I had done very little in the ring at the PC because I just got cleared. And for me, the last thing I wanted to do was go and take 100 bumps in the PC, getting cleared. So I would work out real hard in the gym with the medical staff, and then when they were like, okay, let's get in the ring and hit the ropes, I would dog it as much as I could and be like, oh, I'll just hit the ropes a couple times, and I feel good, because I just didn't want to go from doing nothing to doing everything, But that match, I just remember at that point I'm sitting in Sean's class for 4 or 5 months while I'm hurt, and I'm going into that one with Johnny and thinking like, oh man, Sean's never actually watched me work as a heel. No one in this company has. And I'm like, I hope they like what I do. Like, I mean, I'm just going to do my shtick and what's normal to me. And I hope so. Them seeing it for the first time and it working and the match getting the reviews that it got probably started to, have the influence of like, okay, let's go even further with this feud. Let's put the title in it and let's put that in the mix and all that. So,
well, and there's also heat too, because I think the audience wanted to see more of Black as champion, and then this heel comes in and takes it away. So there's heat in that too,
for sure.
And great chemistry also in terms of like the match where he dropped the title to you and everything, and then you're right back with Johnny. At what point do you think? When did you think, okay, this I now have a kind of a really good bearing on what my character is and the direction that I feel I need to take it, and also having the comfort even more so in going to the writers and creative?
For me, like the confidence came while I was actually hurt. The vision of everything, how I want this character to look, how he's going to dress when he's not wrestling, like what his gear is going to look like, the jacket, the camo pants, like the whole thing, like that all pieced together while I was hurt. So I had full confidence coming back that like, just give me an opportunity. Like, give me the ball, please. Like, give me a microphone and let me have some matches. But then like really New Orleans was the tipping point. Cause I guess, that was the tipping point. When I came back and, cost Johnny, well, it didn't cost Johnny, but I attacked Johnny in January at the takeover. After that, I did some of those TV promos where I wouldn't speak at all. And the crowd response to those, and then on live events, I would get the microphone quite a bit. And I got a real comfort with the microphone in my hand. And like, I remember I credit Steve Carino a lot with it because he was doing a lot of the live events at the time. And every match I'd go out there, he'd just be like, hey, here's a microphone and just go, you got a couple minutes before your match and just tell whatever story you want to tell. And then I remember at Full Sail getting the microphone at TV and just feeling so comfortable. And once like all of those things meshed together of like, okay, I'm really comfortable on the microphone now. I'm confident in the ring, and I'm getting great opponents with Alistair and Johnny and everything. It just became one of those things where it didn't like just happen. It just, it was this slow process of creative trusting me more and me feeling like there was a point I just felt untouchable in a weird way. I felt like I'm not the most athletic. There's so many things I don't have on my side in wrestling. I can't even go out there and have the best like wrestling match. Like, I mean, like when I watch the guys like Tyler Bates and stuff who have this technical ability, it blows my mind. I have a really good finger on the pulse of like, of I can pick up really well on just the audibles in the ring. It's always been my strength. I can feel a crowd and kind of feel the vibe and what needs to be done. Like, does the pace have to pick up or slow down? Or the first time I sat on the apron and clapped and pat myself on the back, I can, the second I feel the crowd on that, I'm like, okay, I got something here. So I'm good at that stuff. And I just started, the more they feed into that, not just the crowd feeds into it, and then like creative does, and everyone's on board, it just builds your confidence up. And like, we knew we had something, you know, with all of it, with the no word promos and the entrance music being silence and the crowd boos and stuff. It's just like, it's hard at that point to not feel like every idea I put out there is going to work at this point. You know, you feel that confident.
And when you get that untouchable feeling, it really, it's so amazing to have that full confidence, but also to be able to listen to the audience, feel the audience. That's something that not everybody can do. It is a very rare thing. Not anybody can go out and just do a bunch of wrestling moves, but if you've been trained in this, a lot of people can do that and go out and do some amazing technical things. That's great. But if an audience can't feel the stuff in between those things, right, and have a reason to get invested one way or the other, whether loving the character or hating the character, with you hating the character, taking those opportunities to pat your back, sit on the apron, just stare at a crowd and wait for a reaction or feel that reaction is going to come. If it's a Johnny, just the way he looks up in his cell, you immediately become invested in him and go, okay, I got to see this guy try and pull this off.
You say it all the time. It's the ugly in between.
You know, it makes it.
Anytime people ask me what I do, I don't do anything. You know, as far like I never care what spots or what moves we're going to do. It's just, to me, it's just like, well, what's the emotion we're going for, and just making it all look and feel as real as possible.
All of that being said, though, you're very creative and you're the recurring theme in it. So I'm going to give you the credit for it in coming up with different ways to, you know, whether it's a water bottle,
yes, and
some water on the mat.
That's my strength.
and a slip. And those subtle little things that you'll set up and come back to. Where's that come from, do you think?
I don't know. Like, I don't know, just because, so I never caught fire on the independents in my time with Ring of Honor. I remember, like, at the very end of my time with Ring of Honor, I was working a program with Jay Lethal, and we got away from the program, and then my last match, they decided to put us together again, just kind of as a throwback to it. And that, I remember calling that match and just being like, it was a weird feeling, because Jay came up to me early that day and was like, hey man, whatever you want to do tonight, this is your match, it's your last one. I was like, okay, cool. And up till that point, it was always 50-50, you know? And something about calling that match, something was clicking in my head that night. And we had some managers, we could use some stuff. And then I left Ring of Honor and I started doing the AEWs and progresses and stuff. And that whole 1 year run on the independents, like something was clicking differently for me, where I watched all the other wrestlers around me and all the different like amazing stuff they could do. And I was like, I can't compete with that. So I got to outthink this. I have to figure out a way to, like, each night I would just look at the card and be like, how do I make this match unique and different? And every night that was my task. It was like, oh, Josh Alexander wears a headgear when he wrestles. Like, that's going to play into the story of this match. Or, oh, we're in this venue and this weird post thing is next to the ring apron, and oh, maybe if I knock him off that and he hits like, I would always come up with just weird, unique things. And once it works, you're like, oh, what's the next thing I could do, you know? So that's when it started. And then definitely working with Sean was that's something, man, about him teaching class. Like, it's not to take away from anybody else at the Performance Center or anybody else who's influenced my career, because there's been so many, but no one has taught me the way he has. And like sitting in on his skull sessions, and I think you can see it in everybody in that class, like Dream and Kyle and Undisputed Era, Cole, everybody. And he just makes you better, you know? And the first time he ever, we're watching a skull session tape of some match, and I just remember him hitting pause and just going, and there's this silence and this weight in the room, and then he rewinds it a little bit and he presses play. He doesn't say anything yet, and play again, and then he pauses it again. He's like, I want you guys to listen to the crowd here. And could have they laid out more, or should have they sped it up a little? And he presses play again. And it's honest to God, you hear your whole life, like, listen to the crowd, listen to the crowd, listen to the crowd. And here's the guy teaching you how to listen to the crowd. And he started doing that every night or every day at the PC with every match. And he's teaching you just the ebbs and flows of, like, not letting them, because the independent way was like you let them peak and then you let them like finish their "this is awesome" chant and settle, and then you get going again. And he had this way of teaching you how to like always, right when they're about to peak, get moving again. And something in the mix of like that year on the independence that I had to just kind of try stuff and throw everything at the wall, and then coming into Sean's and like really fine tuning it and stripping away the crap that didn't work and like focusing on the stuff that did work. Like that, it was that perfect storm, you know?
Well, so how many years were you working the indies before you get into Sean's class and even NXT?
So I'm 14 years in now. So I've been with Sean since the injury, I guess, the knee injuries. So that's almost 2 years ago. So I'm about 12 years in at the point that I get with him.
So how much out of that 12 years do you realize like, oh man, he just completely rebooted me?
And which that happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
You always, I'm starting to get it. And you realize you weren't.
I also think too, I mean, when we've talked about it on this podcast a lot of times, is that, you know, wrestling in main event matches is different, you know, and to learn from a guy like Shawn Michaels who thinks like a main eventer, you know, that's his whole thought process. I mean, he things just happen for him. He's a natural. Did you take anything away from that as far as, you know, that you could apply to yourself where you're starting to step up and work these main event matches? Like, because you have to have, like I said, there's a step up to wrestle those main event matches. Did you feel you were starting to take those gradually, being in his class, and that was helping you?
Yeah, I mean, the tempo and the pacing is the number one thing that I feel like he changed in me. Just learning, like, it's really listening to the crowd, but like, I guess actually like applying that. And I remember the first few live events that I did when I was back finally, and watching stuff back with him, and just I'd start to get so blown up at the finishing stretch of matches. I've always prided myself on conditioning and not blowing up. And when I came back from the knee injury and stuff, I was in the best shape of my life. So I was like, how the hell am I getting blown up? And it was just because what he would demand of you, of like, when it's time to go, especially as the heel, when it's time to feed that comeback and it's time to get moving to the finish and not allow the crowd to dip, it was like, that's the stuff that he just, man, and you see it in every single guy in his class, and how and the selling, how everyone in that class changed the way we approach it all. And like you go out there every night, I'm going to try to outsell my opponent tonight. And like, you have that understanding, you know, and it's that's the stuff that it's like you said, like, you can't, if you haven't been there, if you haven't been the number one guy, how do you teach somebody to be the number one guy? And then no one's been there the way he has. So it's just, it's like, it's cheating, you know. That's what we always say to it. Like, I feel like I'm cheating. Like I'm at the Performance Center. We have the best strength and conditioning coach there is with Sean Hayes. I'm sitting in skull sessions with Shawn Michaels, and then I'm going and doing reps with Ricochet and Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, and it's just like, this is insane. Like, I mean, this isn't even fair. Like, of course we're all going to get better, you know. And you see it over the last 2 years of NXT. It's just like there's been this shift.
There really has. And again, I've said it on this pod, like this incarnation of NXT, all of your characters are so different in appearance, in presentation, in entrances, in look, in style. Every one of you is so different. And I mean, that's you guys. In terms of the work, though, I see it and I go, man, this crop, I mean, there's just something different about it. It's very enjoyable to watch. And I think the something different about it is the fact that everybody's picking Sean's brains. Yeah,
it's a big X factor to it. And there's a lot, too, to like the group. And it's not to say like, it's just the guys who've done independence. It's just different. Like, clearly, when you're doing the roads and you're making $25-$50, you're doing it because you love it, you know. And all of a sudden, there was this influx of independent guys getting signed all at the same time, and it's all these guys who we've all had matches together through the last 10 years on the independents in various venues all over the world, and we're all coming into this together. And there was definitely this feeling constant of like this grateful feeling of being there. Being at the Performance Center, like, no one ever for a second would complain about going to work. You wanted to go to work. Like, there were numerous times where they would tell us, oh, no, hey, guys, you have no skull session today. It's like, no, please. Like, please, like, we want, like, or Sean would have to, you know, be in the UK for something. And you were bummed not to have it. Or strength and condition. Oh, it's optional today. Everybody would show up.
Yeah.
It was this group of guys who just like, and you felt it, you know, it was like the passion, and everyone was so grateful to be there, and everybody was so hungry, and like NXT started to pick up, and it was this constant thing, man. We would go to live events, especially the travel ones, and like, what's the gate tonight? Like, did we sell out tonight? And it was like this, like, out to prove something constantly. And like that, like the idea of NXT being developmental and then it kind of getting this third brand feel to it. Like, we took that personal, like we took it personal. If people were like genuinely, you'd talk to guys and it was like, yeah, it's not about getting called up. Like, it's about getting us on television. It's about getting us, like, just more eyes on our product. Like, so much of what I did as a heel, when I had the title and my promos and stuff, so much of it was coming from such a real place, because it was just like I've never felt more home than I did with NXT. I never felt like more love for a product, for the behind the scenes, for what the work everybody puts in, and like being with all my best friends and stuff. So it was easy for me to just like keep the real and just twist it into the heel persona, but it's just like, that's what it is. Like, it's so many factors, and Sean's a big factor, but so much is with just the guys in the locker room having one goal and going out there every night, and everyone's like just helping each other. And how could I make you look better tonight? You just watch a match that you're not part of, and you come up with an idea for it. Hey man, like, what if you do it this way? Or guys might approach me, hey, what if you did this with your entrance or whatever it be? And that's what it became. It's just like, it was, we're competing, but
there's
we're
still
a team.
camaraderie with it.
Yeah, it's a family.
And I think, you know, when I think back to like us and the Hardys and the Dudleys, it was that same kind of feel where we're all competing, but we're all competing to drive this thing.
100%.
You know, this tag team division to make it as important as we wanted it to be, kind of thing. And a lot can happen when that's happening, when you get the dynamic of a similar mindset, even though all the talent may be different. It really goes a long way. Yep.
It's with the woman too, you know. You see it in every, like, it's like that's the missing piece to anything. Anytime there's success, that's what's happening.
So, all of that being said, you come back from this neck surgery. What do you want to do?
I just want to get back.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the focus.
Yeah. Like, if I can step in a ring again in my gear, knowing I'm about to perform, like I'm an emotional guy, you know, and I do my best to hide it when it has to be hidden. But like, just walking out last night at TakeOver at the end of the night, you know, there was a little bit, I guess, of discussion of whether or not I should come out, you know, for Johnny, and we're breaking kayfabe and stuff. Like, it was very much to me like, I'm a big Rocky Balboa fan. I love all the Rocky movies. And if I see Stallone sit down and do an interview right now, and he talks about Rocky, but as Stallone, I'm okay with that. I don't want him during the movie to be like, hey man, no, I'm not Rocky Balboa, and I'm kind of putting on an accent here and stuff. So to me, it felt that way. It was like, listen, I'm not going to ever let them in while I'm playing the heel persona, like Blackheart, Ciampa, and all that stuff. But I just had neck surgery. Yeah. The movie's over, guys. Like it's over, and it's okay now. Like, when we documented the surgery and all that stuff. So coming out last night, that's how it felt. It felt like they just let us have a real moment. Like, no one told us what to do. Like him, and they were like, go out there, man, and you know, say congrats. And whether or not, even if it made the air or not, didn't even matter to us. It was just us enjoying the moment together. So like, for me right now, it's very much just like, when I went away for the knee surgery, I had a very clear vision. I knew where I was coming back to. I knew this program with Johnny was sitting there waiting for me. I have no idea what the landscape's going to be. You know, WrestleMania is ending. Then you have the Montreal, and I think there's a draft or something going on. And then after that, like, the Fox deal comes in October and stuff. Like, the landscape could change so many times between now and whenever I can get cleared to return. Am I going to be on Raw or SmackDown, or do I come back to NXT? Am I with Johnny? Am I not with him? Like, am I heel or face? Like, I have no clue. So it's like, I'm just doing my best to not even think about it.
Focus on what you can control, and that's getting better.
Yeah, and right now, you know, like, the little one is 6 months, and like, all of a sudden I'm home all the time, you know, and like just the benefit, like, of waking up in the morning and, you know, watching her slowly wake up. Like, it's such a simple thing, and it might sound silly, but like, I get to see her in her crib, like raise her head and look on her face in the morning, and then I get to take her out of there, change her, and just lay her in our bed with us and just hang out. And like that 30 minutes of my day or whatever it is, it's like, man, I'm never going to get those back. And there's nothing that tops that. It's weird. Like, it was hard for sure not doing TakeOver and not having that match. But if you were to ask me, do you want to lay in bed with your family for 30 extra minutes in the morning, or do you want to go do the New York TakeOver match? I'll pick laying in the bed anytime I can. Like, she changes every week. She's changing. You know, and so it's just, for me, it's just like, I'm just enjoying that. I'm enjoying home life.
You know, sometimes things happen and we don't understand why they happen, and I don't know if there's some grand plan or whatever, but what I think is important to do is, when things that on the surface seem really shitty, there's always going to be positives. There's always things to pull from, and there's always things to look at. And I mean, what easier massive positive to have than this brand new baby daughter?
For sure.
To be there for. Yeah. You know, and I know we talked about it. It's like, there's nothing that beats that. Yeah.
And it helps you too, because like, if you go down the rabbit hole of negativity, you can only go down it for as long as she's sleeping. Because the second she's awake, it's like
it's on.
Yeah, it's on, and you're happy, you know.
Yeah, and it's a job, because it's, you know, it's difficult, but it's
exhausting.
It's the best job in the world.
Yeah,
so now, right now, you're still you're recuperating from the neck and everything. You're chasing her around. I know she's not walking yet, but you know, you're doing all of the things that having a baby entails. How exhausted are you at the end of the day?
Dude, it's crazy. Like today, when we joked about it.
This is your break.
Yeah, this is the time
back on the road to get a vacation.
Right. Like today, so I don't know if we were on or not when I said that. Like, I left my room once today to go down to the lobby to pick up my Uber Eats, and I ate donuts in my bed, and I didn't leave my room the rest of until I came here, and I was just like, man, I took a nap. I just feel so refreshed. Like, I slept. This is crazy. So this is exactly what it is. Like, your break is even like, you know, I was obviously wrestling for her first few months, and that's exactly how I felt every time. Like, when I got on the plane to go to whatever city, you know, decompress. Like, I don't have a life to worry about right now. Like no responsibility. Like, you could tell me I had to do anything in wrestling, and I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, that's no anxiety there. So
I don't have to keep another human being alive right now.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, enjoying it to no end. But yeah, I mean, like, God bless my wife, because I'm like, how the hell do you do this when I'm away and you're alone? Like, how's that even possible? Yeah.
Absolute world champs.
Yeah.
Is how.
Amazing.
Yeah, you really, and in watching the video too, to get essentially what your partner has to go through all of these things too. That gets lost in the shuffle a lot. Yeah,
and we have a very, I won't say it's a bigger appreciation, but it's a very unique appreciation when you go through. I think in total it was 5 miscarriages. It might have been 6, but when you go through that whole process and all the medications that I watched my wife go on and off of, and injections and just it was ridiculous. And it was like, I mean, almost 2 years worth of just heartbreak. So one happens and it's successful and Willow's healthy, and it's like, man, the appreciation you have for every second that you have with her. And like the appreciation that I developed for my wife. I mean, we've been best friends 10 plus years, but those last couple years of going through the process and seeing her just fight, it's just like I said it in my private Facebook post when I came back from my injury and stuff. I wrote like a little blog about her, but it's like that was my driving force going through all the surgeries and rehab, because I was like, never is this as difficult as what she's doing. So like already seeing that, and now seeing her turn into mom life and take on that role, it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, you just, like, our job is so easy comparatively.
Oh yes.
You know, and it's just the best ever to now be home and be a part of it all. So,
well, we've now kept you for a while. You've seen Jay and I essentially make out around this microphone. I'm sorry you had to witness it.
I feel bad for Jay, because I feel like he said less because of this.
Well, yeah, that was kind of hard, but I don't know. Maybe it actually helped the interview out that I didn't talk that much.
Probably did. It probably did. You're like an albatross to interviews. Just fucking drag them down. We wanted to have you on for a while. We didn't want to ruin your shtick.
Appreciate that.
But
I also appreciate that you never let on that we were talking throughout the entire, because I hated you. I would go to you. I mean, I don't know if Jay knows this, but like, so I met Edge first because you came to the PC before Jay, or whatever. I at least sat in with you before I did with Jay, and I started sending you every takeover match I had prior to having it. Like, these are my ideas. Is there a way that you would make this better, or am I missing something? So the fact that you never let on to any of that through the podcast, and the fact that you did help me so much was very much appreciated.
I tried to keep I can't stand the guy, man. He just everybody hates him.
I very much appreciate it.
But also, too, I think we both have the same mentality. When people either ask you for advice, or let's say we both sat in on Sean's Skull sessions. We've both been asked to sit in on them, and to have talent ask questions, but when people really want to, and
when they apply it,
that's huge. That's a game changer, because now it's not just the political thing to do. Now it's not just, okay, well, I want to gain favor or whatever. When you see someone actually try it, and then, hey, if it doesn't work, bad on the guy who told you, but you tried. Right. And so that's always really refreshing to see. That to me that's a guy or a girl who really wants to get better at their craft or try different things. So we're big fans over here, if you didn't already know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think I know you're an avid listener of the podcast, probably more so for me than Adam, but I was singing your praises as well when you were doing what you were doing, and I had reiterated many times that what you're doing, nobody else is doing it. Sometimes, like we talked about before, you can have a 5-6 star match if you're into putting star ratings on matches, which I'm not. But if the personality isn't there, if there's nothing character-wise for the audience to grab onto, it's really just a good match. And I think that when you have personality and characters and a story, it just elevates everything, and you were able to do that. And congratulations, man, because you were, really at the time, for my money, the best guy in NXT. You were the guy that I like to watch.
I appreciate that.
Well, we'll be cheering you on no matter what. And you always got a place to come and pick brains or get advice and just all of that real life.
That's going to be dad advice now.
We're there for that too, man. We both got little girls, so we can be there for that too.
I'm outnumbered here.
I know you got a bag of donuts.
They're gone.
They're gone? Oh, you killed them already?
Gone. Yeah, and I would highly recommend the hazelnut filled one. Was wow.
Really? I know you're a filled guy.
I'm a filled donut guy, yeah.
All right.
I don't even mess with the ones that aren't filled anymore. Yeah.
Well, so me too. Offbeat Donuts in Ireland.
Okay.
If you ever go to Dublin, Offbeat Donuts, coffee or cookies and cream, coffee slice, red velvet. Change your life.
Next time you're going to be down in the Performance Center, I'll pick up DG Donuts. It's damn good donuts. It's a donut place that's next to inside, I guess, a gas station store. You would never think.
Really?
Oh, so next time you get, just let me know, and I'll pick it up and bring them to class.
I love donuts so much, I may make a trip purely for that reason.
It's
and
out of this world.
The perks on top of that can be we get to hang out and stuff.
I mean, maybe, but the donuts for sure.
All right. Wow. Son of a bitch. You see that? He turned heel on me again.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. Hope this wasn't too painful to witness, but the shit show. It's a shit show. This pod.
You think the idea of like, we're going to be in the same room would be like, this is
going to be fun.
Great idea.
It's going to be great.
Terrible. Should have done a phone call.
We did it. We got it done. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, hosers. We're here with Heidi King, Deputy Administrator of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. NHTSA is working hard to to combat texting while driving.
Heidi, tell us more about the National Texting Enforcement Campaign. You drive, you text, you pay.
You Drive, You Text, You Pay is the national high-visibility enforcement and awareness campaign that supports law enforcement's amplified efforts to combat texting while driving.
Why is distracted driving so dangerous?
Because text messaging requires drivers to take their eyes off the road, their hands off the wheel, and their mind off driving. It is perceived by many to be the most dangerous distraction on our roadways. Please join the conversation about the consequences of texting while driving by using and following the hashtag JustDrive.
Thank you, Heidi. While April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, please resist the urge to drive distracted year-round.
For more information, visit nhtsa.gov/distraction. That's NHTSA.gov/distraction. It was a good chat. I really do. Having gone through next stuff, I hope, he gets back to where he was, for a guy like that after 14 years of toiling and scratching and clawing. And truly, you hear those terms a lot, but this guy really, really did, man. I mean, he, Beth said she remembers on Indies and seeing him and through all of those years, and just to stick with it, it just means he loves it. And I also really like the guy too, and
yeah, I do too. And thinking obviously, especially with what he's done over the past year as far as elevating himself and the character and not being afraid to take chances and reinvent what he was when he came back from his first injury and all these sorts of things. You really hope it does work out for him. Talented guy, good guy. And I think what you like more about this interview is that I wasn't on so much because of the mishaps, which, maybe I'll just call an interview myself next time.
I mean, yeah, that kind of made it better for me personally. Yeah. And I think he got a kick out of it too. So, hey, a fan had a funny tweet, one of our listeners. Yeah. What will happen first? Christian going into the Hall of Fame or Zack Ryder being on the pod?
Jeez. It's a toss-up.
So Zack Ryder's definitely not coming on the pod anytime soon is what I'm getting from that answer.
That is entirely correct. Even though he won the tag team championships.
In my tights. The kid's trying to kiss my ass by wearing like tights that look like mine at WrestleMania 20 just so he can get on the pod. Come on.
Right? So now it's backfired on him, and now he might be permanently.
He co-hosted once. What does he want?
Right? And you know what? Here's my prediction. I'm predicting it now. I predict Tampa next year. That's when you'll get inducted.
I just rocket strapped it.
I just rocket strapped it. Single rocket strap. I just strapped you.
Maybe I won't be here. Maybe I won't be in Tampa. Maybe I'll go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe I'll go to Key West. I'll be playing Key West Intermezzo with John Mellencamp somewhere.
Jesus.
What?
Really? That's a pretty obscure reference. It is.
Good song. No.
What I was going to say is I'll try and find your little ass there and smack it. Ha ha! I'll smack your ass this time.
Well, whatever it is, these fucking marks will love it. Don't worry about it.
So, before we go, I think we need the results of Mock Walk Mania.
Oh, yeah. Hit it with that swing.
Everyone needs to know what happened. Here's how it all went down. So, Shane, being Shane, I was walking around throughout the day with my mock protector on, which is a hand under your chin. And I was talking to Mike Bennett because we're about to do this Twitter 205 Live thing. They took over 205 Live, and he was going to interview me and ask me my favorite, cruiserweights and, wrestlers that start with M, and then favorite wrestlers that are named Mike. So we're doing that. And as we're about to walk down and start recording this, I got the mock protector on. He's looking at me like I'm deranged. And so I start to explain to him Mock Mania and how this is a mock protector and how Shane just seems to pop up out of nowhere. Who do I see? Who do I see in full, just splendor? He's talking and he's gesticulating with his hands, but he doesn't see me because who's blocking me but Reigns and Drew? And I'm like, ooh, nice. Those two big bastards. They got me covered here. They don't even know it, but I am in. I sneak around. like Dr. J right underneath, froze him. Now Reigns and Drew are looking at me like I'm absolutely insane. Shane's frozen. He can't move, and it's in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So, once again, the winner of Mock Mania, I wish I had Howard Finkel to announce this, is me. Again.
I know. And I knew it happened. I knew it happened because after the fact, I was walking out of a room and Shane was walking out at the same time. He goes, yeah, you got me. He admitted it. I said, what? He's like, yeah, he got me. He got me again. And I was like, oh, you lost? He's like, yeah. It was, you know when he gets that kind of, he's mad.
Oh, he hates it. He hates it. And he's so mad.
I was like, that's a few years in a row. You need to step your game up. He goes, yeah, I know. Thanks. You don't have to keep explaining it. He was so mad.
I've texted him every day since with a countdown of how many days until the next Mock Mania. It's going to be amazing.
What's his response? Even responding?
He nothing. No. He's getting them, and I know he's reading them. And
that's the best. He doesn't even know what to say back is the best.
He's got nothing.
You know?
He's got nothing. He's got no game against me. I got better Jordans than him too. So there's that.
Man, jeez, you should make mock Jordans.
They should actually. That's a very, very good idea. He could probably get it done.
All right.
All of that being said, well, all of that being said, and I said this to Beth, that night, I was like, if you go to war, you want a guy like Shane McMahon beside you. Because going back to that whole Hall of Fame thing, he was in there so flippin' fast and without a thought or a care as to his own well-being. He just dove in there, and didn't even think about it. So even though I defeated him in Mock Mania, I got to give him ups on that.
Yeah.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go, Bird.
All right.
Couple things real quick before they get enough of you guys. This is episode 100.
What?
Congrats.
Jeez,
really?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And Adam, since we were recording this on a Thursday, you tweeted that it is the 8-year anniversary of your retirement. You missing the ring?
No. No, here's what I don't miss is the chaos that surrounds like Mania. And I got home and I was just flipping exhausted. Like I had nothing. But there are talents that I see, that you go, you automatically start inserting yourself in with ideas and things like that. But I'm good. I'm good with where I'm at. But yes, someone brought up to me that it has been 8 years today. And I just think about those 8 years and how much we have crammed into those 8 years. It's kind of insane. It almost feels busier than the first or the 20 years that I wrestled. It's all flying by. But 100 episodes, look at that.
Yeah, look at us.
How is that possible? We're not good at this.
Well, also the fact that neither of us knew shows you. But it's like anything. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I think you guys are just waiting for me to put you guys over and say that. That's what I'm thinking. So
that might have been Jay's ploy. Yeah. I'm just absolutely oblivious. So I don't know until people tell me.
Here's to 100 more, you fucking marks. All right, we're out of here. Here we go.